Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome to RoboticQA Academy. So today we will see different axes of XPath. Okay, so we are going into the detail like what is the absolute path, what is the relative axis. Okay, so we'll see the all the list here like what is ancestor, how to use it, ancestor or self, attribute, child, descendant or self, following sibling, parent, preceding sibling, and self. Okay, let me go to the next slide. So I have here the DOM structure. So let's start like what is attribute here. Okay, so if you see in the screen, so for example, this is the basic syntax of how to use the attribute. So I am putting here /p means the p element. So if you see on the left side we have p element here, and inside that I'm using attribute. So for this p tag, id is attribute and the child is the attribute value. Similarly, if you take the span down, the span has a class attribute and its value is target. So some elements will not have any attribute. Let's say body don't have any attribute, HTML don't have any attribute here. So this anchor tag has attribute called href and its attribute value is link. So how it help in identifying the element? So if you see it highlighted, so this XPath using the id attribute, it will select the p tag, okay, element with p tag with the attribute id and attribute value as a child, and that's how it is selecting. So there are different attributes you will see on the page. Okay, so some of these id, class, name, type, href, value, src, title, type, href. Okay, so these are only like mostly you will see these kind of IDs, but you can have other IDs attributes also. Okay, so now I hope you understood like how attribute work. So you can use @ whatever the attribute name and equal to its value. So that's how like okay we are able to identify the element. Okay, we'll see the practical also, but before that let's see what are the advanced things are there, how to use attribute in different ways. So the first one is the basic one that in syntax we have seen. So syntax is like tag name in bracket @attribute name equal to attribute value in single quote. Okay, that's how it will work. So partial attribute matching. Okay, so what does this mean? Let's say you have some attribute, but you don't want to give the complete value. Let's say here I am finding the div and we are using the contains keyword to partially match the attribute. Okay, so I want to check if this div has class attribute @class, and instead of equal to we are putting comma button. Okay, so class may be button-1, button-2, button-3, but I just want to see if okay that div class value should have a btn text. Okay, maybe abc-btn-1. In that case also it will find that element because we are using contains. So it will check if @class attribute should be there and its value should contain btn. Okay, so that's how it works. After this we'll see what is the start with matching. So if you want to see if any attribute which start with some specific thing, okay, because nowadays like if you see like DOMs are dynamic, and if you give hard coded value it will not work, right? So similarly contains work like it will check anywhere, okay, in the attribute value. If it is starting, ending, between also it will work. But if you want to be specific with the prefix, okay, so for that this is the syntax tag, then starts -with and give this bracket @attribute comma instead of equal to comma and whatever the start. Let's say the example is input, find input tag which start with okay which has a id attribute which start with user hyphen. Okay, it will check the input tag and it has id available, attribute id, and its attribute value is starting with user underscore, and it will fetch those matching element. Next we have ends with. Okay, this is you can ignore also because it works only in XPath 2.0, and you will, if you try really it will not work in the Selenium script. Okay, because we all use like XPath 1.0. Okay, so multiple attribute condition. So if you want to put like multiple attribute condition, so you can use the AND keyword. Okay, so we are giving tag, and this is the basic syntax only, but inside this here we have like @ID username. After that again we are putting and another attribute like name @name equal to email. So we are checking find input box, it should have these two attributes and exact value, like type attribute with text value, name attribute with email value. So next, wildcard attribute selection. So if you don't know like what is the attribute, but okay, it can be anything, ID, name, but it should have value as a username. So in this example we are putting the star asterisk. Okay, find input which has attribute value as a username, any attribute. Okay, either it is ID, class, name, anything, but attribute value is username. It will fetch all these elements. Okay, so next we'll see negation. So I'm giving two examples here. So div, okay, not contains class hidden. Okay, so means it will select the div which has which is not having this attribute value. It will let's say we have two divs, both have like class attribute, but one class have hidden value and one is not having this hidden, it is different. Okay, so which one it will select? It will select which is not having hidden, because we are using not. Okay, select div which does not contain class value hidden. Okay, this is the meaning. Second one we will see input not disabled, means it will select the input box which is not in disabled mode. Okay, I hope these are the different techniques you learned today. Okay, you can practice it, and if you face any issue you can just comment out in the chat. I'll be able to help you. Next, in XPath we will see how to use the child. Okay, so here we have example also. Left side I have some HTML code like DOM structure, and we'll see how it works. So for example, UL, I want to find UL tag on anywhere on this page, okay, which has a ID attribute equal to menu. Okay, so let's find where it is. I have UL here and ID equal to menu, this one, right? And its child, means if I use child li, okay, 2 times colon li, child 2 times colon li, it will find the down li item which has a item 1. So let me show, but it has a 3. Okay, if you see here under UL you have 3 li tags. I am not specifying li which has text item 1 or anything, right? So it will select all the values which are under UL. So /child and colon li, that's how you can select. So if you do, instead of li, if you don't want know what kind of tag will come, so you can use star also. So means anything which is a child to this UL, it will select all. Okay, next we will see parent. Okay, how the parent work. Example, I'm taking span which has ID sibling 2. Okay, where it is, if I go here, okay, this is the one. So you see span ID sibling 2, okay, and hyphen parent div. So what is the parent div means? If you see, these are all our sibling, right, actually in one line. So if you go to top and move little bit left, I have div. Okay, so div ID parent. So what will happen? This XPath will select this one, div ID equal to parent. So for P, this div is parent, for span this div is parent, for this second span, third span, this div is a parent, and above it is grandparent. So it will select only parents. Okay, because we are using parent keyword here, parent colon div. Okay, so next, okay, so this finds the parent of the span. Next we will see what is ancestor. Okay, it is different from the parent. Okay, how it works? Only the place is changed. Instead of parent we are putting ancestor here. Okay, I'm finding the p tag which has id equal to child. So this is the one, and if I use ancestor div, what will happen, it will find both parent and grandparent. So in earlier, parent was selecting only parent, like immediate parent, but this will select parent, grandparent. If there is another grandparent also, it will select that as well. Okay, so in this example, it will select this div, because for this p, this is the we are just putting colon div, right? Ancestor colon div. So it will select 1 2, if there is one more div also, it will select, okay, all the divs, not other element. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Ancestor. Now ancestor-or-self, how it work. So we are just using ancestor hyphen or self. Okay, and what it will do, so let me take example. So if we take, see the XPath /li, so it will select a li, there are 3. Ancestor-or-self equal to ul. Okay, ancestor-or-self. Okay, ancestor means previous ul, right? So if you go till top also, there is only one ul, so it selected that. So why it is not selecting self? Okay, there is a condition. Okay, because current tag is li. Okay, we are using li, and for this li we are checking ancestor-or-self ul. Okay, if you give a star here, it may select current also. Okay, it will select current also, but if current tag is ul and ancestor is also ul, in that case it will select both actually. Okay, so that's the difference. So ancestor will select only the ancestor, parent, grandparent, but ancestor-or-self will select current element also, parent also, and grandparent also. Okay, but condition is that current element should be whatever you put here, colon ul, right? So current element is li, and on li we are putting this ancestor-or-self. Okay, so if we want to see an example, let me go to this website. Let me show you practically how it works. I'm going to this element. Let me expand this DOM structure, but I don't see anywhere we have. Okay, here in this div. Okay, if I use the ancestor and self, okay, here I'll be able to demonstrate it how it works. Let me do Control F. So I'll select div which has id parent. Select div which has id equal to parent, and now I will use ancestor colon div. So if you see, it is selecting for this parent, there is ancestor means all the previous div, means not in parallel, like parent, grandparent. So there is a grandparent. So for this parent it is parent, right? There is no grandparent. But if I use ancestor-or-self, okay, now if you see, this time it is selecting two levels, self also, because here we are putting div here. Okay, and the current self is also div, that's why it is selecting. In previous slide, the current element was not ul, we are selecting ancestor uls, but current is not ul, so it is not selecting there. But here if you see, it is showing 2. So that's the difference between the ancestor or self. Next we will go and see what is preceding. So example of preceding is like, you take any example like span which has id example. Okay, here it is, and preceding div. I want preceding div for this one. Okay, it's not like ancestor. So if you see here, select any node before the current one. Okay, so now you will see what is the difference here in ancestor and preceding. Okay, ancestor will go in a way like parent, grandparent. Okay, but preceding will take anything. Okay, so if you take this span id example, and it has a text. Okay, so if I go to up, okay, span is like sibling, and this div is parent. Okay, this div is parent, and for this div, who is parent? This body directly. If you see this alignment, okay, so it will not find anything there, right? Okay, but we have different families here. You consider like you have cousin family, they also will have same structure, right? Child, parent, grandparent, we also have same thing. So preceding means it will check all the families, and in their families also, if it find this div, it will select that one. So in this one it is selecting this thing. Okay, so for this span, actually if you use the ancestor, it has only target div, it will select that only. But here we found there are two divs, okay, in previous, okay, from current till on the top. Now let's see another. Okay, so this is also, this also will get included, okay, because this is again a div from different family. So this is one family, this is second, this is third. We are finding for this span, right? So for span, this is a previous family, this is previous family, right? And there is also div, so all div it will select. Okay, now let me go to next example, preceding sibling. Okay, so what is meant by preceding sibling? So let's take this example, span id equal to example and preceding sibling span. I'm taking same thing, but I'm just adding preceding sibling. So in this one, what will happen? It will not go to other family, like this grandparent, this block is one family, uncle is another family. Now for this target is one family. So preceding sibling means it will check in current only. So it should take cousin, actually span id cousin. So this is a preceding, previous sibling. Okay, finds the previous span. Okay, so this is what highlighted, it will take a, this is the difference actually. Preceding means it will go to other families also, which is like on the top. Okay, so next we will see descendant, and this is the example of like descendant, where we are finding the div which has id grandparent and descendant span. So we have to come down now. Okay, so what it will return, it will return all the descendant of the current node, child, grandchild, everything. So and does not include the current node itself. So if you see here, for this div id grandparent, we are using descendant span, means come inside like in this tree. And if you see, there are three span are there, so it selected all the three spans. It will not go, even if it is available under this ul tag span, it will not select, because we are using descendant. Okay, and there is another is descendant-or-self. So in this one, what will happen, it will select the current node also and return all the elements. So it's similar to descendant, but it selects self also, but we don't have anything in a self, so it have not selected. Okay, I hope the descendant and descendant-or-self is also clear. At the end, I'll just randomly show these examples, like how it work in the actual application, and we will try to utilize amazon.com also to see it. Okay, next is following. Okay, how it work? So you can correlate it with this example. So here I'm selecting the div which has id grandparent, okay, and following span, similar to previous example. But what will happen here, following select all the elements in the document after the current node, regardless of hierarchy. It will go to another family also again. Okay, so if I take the example here, I'm checking grandparent. In current family there is no span, but in other two families, uncle family and target family, we found two spans, and which is down to grandparent, right? And it selected that. Okay, so this is the difference. Okay, next, following sibling. So again it will not go to other family now, and if you see here, we are again checking the span id cousin, following sibling. So for cousin, this example is a following sibling, means it is down. Okay, next we will see self. Okay, this is very tricky one, and most of the people don't know what is the use of self. Self means it will select the self element. Okay, but you will think, why we need self here? Okay, the self access in the XPath is used to select the current node itself. So you will tell why you need, like I write like / input tag. So why I need to select self tag? Okay, you may feel it is redundant. Okay, it is useless. Okay, but it is very useful in some conditional filtering and chaining things. So let's take a scenario here. I want to select a element with id cousin or id child. So there are two elements, this span also and this span also. No, cousin and on the another family there is one, right? But it has a different tag. So how you will write generally XPath for this one? It is possible. You will write like span id cousin or id child, again or p id cousin or id child, and I want, let's say, div also with these two attributes. Again, what will happen? You have to write or and it will keep increasing. So this is redundant code actually. Okay, so how it can be done using this help? So you just write here any tag which has these two attributes, and inside a bracket you can write self span or self p, means these two attributes should be there, and select these tags. Okay, if it find other tag div input, it will skip those, it will filter and it will pick only span and p tags. Tomorrow if you need like input tag, you just add it here input. You don't need to write or condition and make your code redundant. Okay, so that's how like it works. Let me go here. We'll practice some locators here, how to use @ and starts with descendant, different things we can try it out. So if I go here, let me take this cousin. Okay, span id cousin. So if I go here, span id equal to cousin. Okay, cousin cousin. Okay, it selected one element. Now I'll try following span. Okay, so if you see for this cousin, this example is the span available. So there is other one is preceding, and if you see, it is selecting the preceding here. Okay, which is a previous. If I go to previous, it is going here, right? So now you will think, what is the difference between ancestor actually? So okay, so or preceding sibling. So if I go and type here sibling, what will happen? It will not find anything. The reason is, if I take this cousin also, and this span also has cousin, there is no sibling. There is a following, okay, but there is no sibling actually here, and that's why it is not able to find it out. Or let's say randomly how to find div which has gr, okay, id value starting with gr. Okay, so I'll select div contains id comma and gr. Okay, I'm not typing anything. Okay, if I take some middle work dp, okay, it is able to select it. Okay, so that's how like you can use the contains start with, okay, different kind of locators. Okay, let me go to Amazon to find some tricky things. Okay, I'm just randomly taking, so you will also learn like how to find. I want for this India, okay, India box. So it is a span and it has a text India. Okay, so how we will use Control F, span text. This is one more function, and you can use equal to also, because we are putting exact text here, and you see we are able to find the India. You can try it out. You can go to amazon.in, try to find all the locators, and if you stuck anywhere on any locator while you are doing practice, you can comment me out. Okay, I'm not able to write or construct the locator for this element. Give me any tricky thing, I'll be able to find it. Okay, let me find for return. Okay, so now if you see, it is a span, it has some now something, but I want to take a help of this return thing. Okay, let me move it down, and if I use arrow and highlight this, okay, and order, I want to click on and order. So this is the span, not the above one. Okay, and order I want to select, but there is no text. Okay, there is but and order, but I can take a help of this return also to find that element. Okay, span which has a text written, control F, span, and here I'll use text equal to return, and then following sibling, following sibling. And what is the following sibling? I think it is again span, right? And you see and order it is able to find. Okay, so you can do lots of things. You can do the combination also. Now from span I want to go to above element like parent. What is the parent for this one? Is it div? No. So for this span the A is parent, right? So I can go to A, and you see we went to anchor tag. I can select above div also again. Okay, I want to select above div this account and list. I can use again preceding sibling div. Okay, now if you see, this is where people stuck. Now I'm looking for other one, but it is finding 2 here, right? So you can tell more about the second div. I need second div here. So there are options like you can use indexing also, but don't go with that one. Let's say if I put in bracket 2, and you see 3 or 1, it is selecting it, but avoid using the indexing. Okay, so instead of that you can tell about, okay, my id ends or id contains account list. Okay, if it is dynamic class you can tell her, okay, your div contains id okay, and you see, so we are able to find this one. So that's how, like, you need to do the combinations. We've initially found span which has a return. So this type of issues you will face. Let's say if there is an element and it has same id, same class, same attributes, everything is same. So in that case it will help you to utilize these different techniques like parent, sibling, child, preceding sibling, following sibling. Okay, so you need to go practice it. Go to the video again, go to that slide where I'm showing syntax example, understand, watch it again and do the practice. You will be master in the using XPath locator. Okay, so if you like the video you can put the comment in the chat also, like thank you, or if you have any issues in finding the or constructing the locator for this Amazon.in any locator, you can put your questions in the chat. Thank you.